Hey folks, what's up? This is Gray here, and today I'm going to be harvesting some of my Seminole pumpkins. And either the night or a couple nights ago, whenever I discussed it on the live stream, uh, I'm being attacked by these little worms that are destroying, obliterating all the foliage on the plants, and it's starting to work itself into the beans as well. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that bed if for the future. I mean, the summer has been extremely hot. The rain has been excessive to the point where it's either excessive or really dry. So it's been an interesting summer so far. And what I'm going to do next week is probably clean up the first bed, clean that out, take some of the plants that have died off in there, clean up all the debris. I'm thinking about putting a drip irrigation system in that bed as well. For the future, for what I'm planning on putting in there. And then with the pumpkin bed, depending on after I harvest these Seminole pumpkins, we'll see how that goes. If they produce, or if I can't kick back these worms, I'm using BT, which is a natural substance. I'll put a link down in the description for you folks that may have problems with anything that's caterpillar based or worm based like that. It's the most natural way to kind of get rid of them other than picking them off yourself, but me and the wife have probably picked off, I don't know, several hundred of them it seems at this point. And if you hear thunder in the background, yes, it's just a typical day in Florida. I don't see any lightning, so I should be safe. But so let's go grab these pumpkins, and I'll explain to you what I'm doing in regards to it, why I'm cutting them a certain way, and I just think it's best to harvest them now. They're right color. Most of them are the right color for Seminole pumpkins, which is more of a yellowish color, but you'll see that here in a second. And just store them and get them ready to store. Some of them are small, some of them are medium. Seminole pumpkins don't get huge, but they are different varieties that will get huge. And I talked to a buddy of mine in regards to the growth of these pumpkins, and he said they like room, and I got them in a 4x8 bed, so they don't have as much room as they could use in regards to them sprawling out and fighting things like these bugs and whatever. Some people I think next year I'm going to do something a little different. We'll see how it goes the rest of the summer with these pumpkins. If it stifles and no pumpkins produce after I harvest these, we'll move on from that and come up with a different idea for this bed. Most likely it's going to be probably sweet potatoes. I think I'm going to grow sweet potatoes, and then for the rest of the summer until we get into the cooler months, and then we got lots of great plans for that. So enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and move over to the bed and harvest some of these Seminole pumpkins. Real quick, you can see the echinacea there. We're probably going to be harvesting that this Sunday. Harvest all this echinacea here and start processing it. So we'll probably do a video on that as well. I don't know if you guys have seen the previous videos that I've done on the Seminole pumpkins, but it's not as happy as it used to be. Let me kind of come in close and show you the damage that these bugs are doing. Here you can see the leaves there. They're just tearing through it. Tearing through all these leaves. And let me move over here. And just creating all kinds of issues. You'll see curling like this. And that's when usually, I just squish this part of it because that's when usually there's a bug inside there. And I'm pretty sure I can find one. As you can see, there's residuals of bug residue. I've killed so many of them, who knows at this point. But as you can see everywhere, they have decimated the leaves on the Seminole pumpkin. It's still trying, as you can tell by looking at the leaves themselves, that over here they're trying to produce, they're trying to throw off more little vines and whatnot to protect itself. It's still producing flowers, so it may produce. So that being said, let's kind of look at these pumpkins here. And this is kind of a small pumpkin, but I'm going to cut this way up here, and I'll explain why in a second. All right, so you always want to use something sharp when you're cutting these. I'm going to go ahead and cut that right there. Put that down. See this color here? This is the color that you usually want. See how it has like a little bit of this green tinge to it still? But by leaving this stem on here as long as it is, there's still nutrients inside of this stem, and if there's any rot at all down the road, it'll start here and I can cut that off. but it helps it store a lot longer. So I usually cut it anywhere from 3 to 4 inches long when I harvest these, because this will continue to ripen once I take it off the vine. And the color that you're really looking for, I'm going to put that down there, is this color here. See this yellow color right there? That is usually the majority of the time what a Seminole pumpkin will look like. So we're going to go ahead and cut that stem as well. And this is what I expect out of most of my pumpkins about this size for the Seminole, from what I've saw in a lot of other videos. But this is usually that, see that nice kind of color there? That's what most Seminole pumpkins, they have like that, I want to say peachy, like orangey, light orangey kind of cream color. But that's the color you're looking for when you're growing Seminole pumpkins. And again, as you can see the stem there, I'm going to leave that on there. That way we can store these pumpkins for a longer period of time. Seminole pumpkins, if stored appropriately, you can store them up for almost a year if done right. Let me see, I think I got a couple more to cut here. There's one hidden in here as well. I'll get to that one here in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this one. And they could be still growing, but my concern is the bugs. And I don't want to lose these pumpkins, because even at this size, Seminole pumpkins are still tasty. Kind of like acorn squash, like I've discussed in previous videos. We'll throw those guys in there. Matter of fact, maybe I'll weigh that just to kind of give you guys an idea of how much weight we got in pumpkins in general. And you don't touch those pumpkins, all right? You don't touch those pumpkins. He will go in there and eat them. I've caught him doing some funny stuff in the garden. So this is the last one here. Let's see if I can come in here and cut it. That looks good right about there. And pull this out. There we go. And you can see it's almost ripe. Has a little bit of green on that part of it. I mean, look at this guy. What are you eating? See? He's eating greens. He wants to get his helping of greens. No, you don't get no pumpkin. Get away from me. You're not getting the pumpkin, buddy. Oh, you want to sit and try to be pretty? Nope. No pumpkin for you. No pumpkin for you. You can have the greens, but you're not getting the pumpkin. Anyways, folks, we're going to go ahead and put that in there. And, you know, to me, for my first time growing Seminole pumpkins and having some of the issues that I have, especially in a raised bed like this, I think that's not too bad so far. I expected a lot more, but, you know, we learn through trials and tribulations when it comes to our garden, things that work well, how to grow it, and we learn from growing things initially and then learning from our mistakes and whatnot from there. We pick these beans every day. As you can see, the beans have gone nuts, and we pick a lot of the beans. We try to keep it picked clean so it continues to produce. I think we've gotten a lot of most of the beans in there. Just making sure I didn't say anything. Maybe you guys can see that. I don't know. No, it's too small to see. But some of these worms, here we go. This would be a perfect example if I can do this one-handed here. Look at that. And it won't focus on there. That's what's inside this thing here. Let me just pull that out of there. But these worms are now working themselves into the beans. But anyways, before I do anything crazy to this bed, I'll see if she bounces back or whatnot, and we'll go from there. You can see there's still flowers popping up, and there's some greenery, but we'll see long term if the plant will bounce back and whatnot. Also, I got to pull these carrots and some other things in here and clean this thing out. This I'm thinking about transplanting into a 30-gallon. As you see, it's just gotten way out of hand. This is one of my herbs. It's almost like a bush now, folks. It's almost like a bush now. And I'm going off topic on the Seminole pumpkins, but as you can see, it's kind of like, I don't know, you see the stems there, and but it's like a pesto basil. It's a giant plant at this point. So I got to cut that back. I'm thinking about just transplanting it. As you can see, it's just a huge bush. We have so much basil at this point from this plant. It's ridiculous, but I want to keep it going because it's very nice, very beautiful, very lush. Keeps a lot of the bugs away. And of course, the Thai basil is just, you know, gone to seed. It's gone crazy. So I want to cut that back and cut it down. Remove some of the old stuff, like these tomato plants that have kind of had their fill, as well as this tomato plant. It's just creating an issue down the road. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all this stuff out, clean this garden out. You can see the rosemary hiding back there. Rosemary's still doing good. And these are some of the herbs that we use on a daily basis for our cooking. So just to give you folks an idea of like how much these little pumpkins weigh, I'll go ahead and put that on there. And that's about 38.6 ounces. I'll go ahead and weigh the rest up and give you a tally here in a minute. So in total, we got about a little over 9 pounds of the Seminole pumpkins. Now, folks that grow regular pumpkins probably think that's like really, really low. And it is low in general, even for Seminole pumpkins, just because usually they're very plentiful. But in regards to what's happening in the garden, you know, I'd rather save every bit of food that I possibly can, just in case. And they were pretty much ready to harvest, as you can tell with the coloring of the Seminole pumpkins and whatnot. And so 9 pounds. We'll see if things progress in the garden and the Seminole pumpkins, the plants bounce back, and we'll go from there. And hopefully we'll get more. If not, we're going to be saving those pumpkins. No matter what we're going to do, we are going to try to make at least one pumpkin pie from the Seminole pumpkins. I have like 6 different recipes. I got to choose which one I like the most, and then I'll go from there. Other than that, folks, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Look forward to future garden updates, especially as the summer progresses. We're going to grow sweet potatoes in the raised bed this year and see how they do. A lot of you folks watched the video, was it last year? Yeah, I think it was last year, where we grew sweet potatoes inside of a huge 50-gallon, I think it was a 50-gallon grow bag, and we had very good success in that. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. I'll link it up top, and let me know what you think about that. And we'll see the difference between using a raised bed garden for sweet potatoes versus a a grow bag. I'm still a big fan of grow bags, no matter how I look at it. Just in the situation that we're in now, we're changing things up, because as we move through our progression of gardening, we want to try all 3 different options pretty much. One is the grow bags, one is the raised beds, and then once we get our forever home, we'll be doing it in the ground. Because sweet potatoes can grow very well in even sandy environments like Florida. Other than that, folks, if you enjoyed the video or got any value out of the video, or just, hey, want to hit that thumbs up button, I truly appreciate that. If you're new here, please subscribe and check out the gardening playlist. We're moving into 2.5 years of our gardening adventures. We started out very small and just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. Growing your own food is the best thing for my journey on self-sufficiency. Other than that, folks, remember, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys on the rebound, and God bless, and thank you again for watching.